$3 million in spending. The sheriff says he's not over budget but underfunded, and now supervisors may be cutting him some slack, but it may not last for long. 13 News reporter Bud Foster is live at the Pima County complex. Bud, you talked with the sheriff who's saying this is about politics.
Well, yeah, he certainly does believe that. You know, budget battles between the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the Board of Supervisors, nothing new. They've been going on for years. However, the sheriff may have a bit of upper hand in this because of rampant inflation, which nobody could predict, a labor shortage, which cost him millions of dollars extra in overtime costs. However, still, there are members of the Board of Supervisors who are just not buying that.
I'm also concerned that 6 months from now, 8 months from now, we're going to have another discussion like this.
Which is very likely because even though the board voted 3-2 to make the sheriff's budget whole this year, a budget that was more than $3 million in the red, the sheriff said the supervisors were already setting him up to fail next year.
But you cannot come to this sheriff and say, oh, here, by the way, we're giving you $1.5–2 million in pay raises, but we're not funding them, and then yell at the sheriff because he's over budget? No, he's underfunded.
The sheriff receives about $160 million a year to fund the department, the biggest budget in the county, but says unpredictably high inflation meant he had to spend $460,000 extra to feed his inmates. Another extra inflation-induced $400,000 over budget to buy new helmets, ammunition, and gas masks. Overtime ran an extra $1.5 million in order to make up for staff shortages, but the board didn't seem to care.
How did we get to those overages? I don't know. I'm just at a loss of how we got here.
The arguments went back and forth throughout the presentation, with the sheriff arguing the county is putting him behind the 8 ball even before this new budget year begins, removing more than $2 million for contingency after the budget had already been approved.
This year you've already approved my budget at about $159–160 million, but again, you've taken $2.1 million before I could even start the budget year. That was done by this board. I am already in the hole, $2.1 million.
Little progress was made today, and the board requested the sheriff return late next month for another round of talks. The sheriff says he's not sure what can be accomplished.
I don't know what they want from me come August 21. I'll gladly be here and answer their questions. And if this board chooses to play politics, so be it. This sheriff won't do that.
Now, every month, the Board of Supervisors gets a report from every department letting them know where they stand budget-wise, so the sheriff says the board should have seen this coming. However, the sheriff also says in the future, the reports he gives to the board will be a lot more detailed. Downtown at the county complex, I'm Bud Foster, 13 News.
All right, Bud, thank you. Another big issue before Pima County supervisors today. They voted to